Hello everybody, welcome back to some Fallout 4. Last time, it's creepy, we
Who? What?
What the fuck was that?
it was nothing, don't worry about it. What did we do? Oh right, we did Covenant last time and finally cleared. So this time, for this part and quite possibly the next, depending on how long this takes, where is it? And of course I can't read it without going into my inventory. So this time, yeah, we're going to do the Silver Shroud quest line, which may take us more than one part. Let's see. Check out Hubris Comics up Newbury Street, store on the ground floor. Ought to be easy pickings. All right. So the lead was for this. I really thought that might be like another one of those things that I can't get rid of and just mark some random location on the map. But anyway, 1 second. So yeah, Hubris Comics. We're here to get the. Oh, hello.
It's fighting time.
We're here to get the Silver Shroud costume for, I
Let's see if they left
believe his name is
anything
Kent,
useful for
or
us.
Ken, or something to that effect.
Fighting again. Great. You know, ammo
Back in
isn't
Good
cheap.
Neighbor.
Can we just pay you to play dead? That got. Go ahead, run. I need a break anyway.
God, I hate ghouls. Such a pain in the ass. We had to get him because if you recall, which you probably don't because that was quite a while ago that we did that.
we go.
Oh, there's another one. Permanently gain 1% chance of avoiding all damage from an attack. That, as you can imagine, not the greatest perk, just because like the odds of it both occurring and then on top of that, because obviously it's a 1% chance, so you know the odds of it occurring are 1%. But then on top of that, the odds that it's also going to occur at a time where it matters, you know? Like if I'm at full health and I avoid all damage from, let's say, a feral ghoul, that means nothing. Now, if I was at like 1 health and about to take a mini nuke from a super mutant, well, I'd be the luckiest son of a bitch on the planet. Alright, let's see. Trained, no. Could be warrior.
Yes.
It is. August pre-orders. 95% of pre-orders picked up last month. Ran out of Grognak twice, requesting additional copies of Grognak. 102, Grognak the Barbarian, Lost in the Snows of Lust. 86, Captain Cosmos, the radioactive spaceman from space. Seems redundant. Tales from the Front, The Red Terror, Underground Life, Vault Boy Special, and Manta Man, Voyages of the Deep. Wow, apparently Manta Man isn't a big seller. We bring it too. September pre-orders. Both of the Manta Mans weren't picked up. No more pre-orders for Mr. Freely, and Dover. The rest of the Mantas still in boxes, putting them in the free bin tomorrow. Can we stop stocking these? Got several inquiries about Silver Shroud comic book rumors. 110 of Grognak, Heavy the Oaken Crown. 85 of Captain Cosmos versus the Moon Man. 30 Tales from the Front, Someone Must Die. 9 Underground Life, Timmy's Big Adventure. And then 2 more Manta Men, The Shrimp of Doom, which apparently weren't picked up. Again, if I had to guess. Our in-store subscription numbers remain dangerously low. We need to start laying on the hard sell. Just remind the customers we do all the work. They just come in and pick up the issues. Oh, and it's 5% cheaper than doing it as a direct home mail order. Fortunately, we have some new subscribers. I mean, I would subscribe to a comic probably. I mean, it is probably a thing I can do. But there's just none. I don't know. I feel like there's so many where it's like you get this one, but then they're going to bring in people from other comics and like plot lines that involve other comics, and it's just, eh. Alright, well, let's just disengage the lock. I don't. And you know what? We're also going to go back to this caster and just start taking store key because I don't feel like picking locks today. Grognak. There we go. Grognak's axe. Hits cause more stagger and targets take bleed damage. It is, as you can see, it does 63 damage. I'm not sure if you can upgrade that or not. But either way, even if you can't, it's still a pretty solid melee weapon. If you're looking for a melee, or if you're looking to make a melee character. It works very, very well. I'm very itchy today. I don't know what the hell got into my room last night or something, but it bit the shit out of me. And I've been so fucking itchy like all day. And the worst part about it, right, is like I can stop the itching for a little bit. I tried some medicine that's supposed to stop itching. It doesn't. Or at least it doesn't work for me. And but what I can do is on the itchy spots, if I run not quite scalding hot water over it. Oh, whoops. It does stop the itching for a while, like quite a while actually. But my issue right now is like obviously without getting directly into the shower, there's only so much I can do with that. So like just before I started recording, I ran the hot water over my hands and my forearms, but like my upper arms and like my feet and that are all still so freaking itchy still. Where the... Oh, I see. Okay, I call bullshit on at the very least one of those bullets.
Here I was wanting to spend...
Oops.
And then you had to ruin it.
But yeah, this is a
Time to earn our paycheck.
this is actually a very good quest line to do with Deacon, because he's kind of a silly person. He's one of those people where while he takes his job seriously, he never seems to be taking it seriously, you know? And pretty much everything after this can be done somewhat ridiculously. Alright, let's see. We got 2 more scavenger notes. So the lead is the one outside. We just picked up the list. Stuff worth coming back for. Axe. Boss said it was too heavy to bother with, but someone will buy it. Comic books. Have to be 1 or 2 that are still legible. Always good for a few caps. Storeroom. Just need someone who can pick that lock. Have to check with Carl. Maybe you can get Ken Standish for the job. Damn monkey creeps me out. Did you guys just not check the cash register? Like, I got in there perfectly fine without even a little bit of lockpicking. And then the note from the guy in the bathroom downstairs. Can't believe I signed on for this. Who wants this crap? Collectors, the boss says. So who's the fool here? Them or us? Generally, them. Collectors are very easy to fool, and companies take advantage of that. And I don't mean fool as in, like, fake merchandise. I mean fool as in, like, oh, let's just make this random crap.
In the script.
Shove this brand, this franchise, this logo on it, and these people will buy it, right? Like, so many companies do it. Like, I feel like I can't tell if it's better or worse than it used to be. Because, like, if you, well, hell, if you watch, like, Jurassic Park, for example, right? And and, like, you see, like, lunch boxes, t-shirts, and that. Because, I mean, you still have t-shirts and that. But I feel like it used to be... Oh, a Silver Shroud photo. We'll take that. Best wishes. The Silver Shroud. Baseball bat. Regular baseball bat. But yeah, like back in the day, there used to be just. I guess it still is. It's probably just as bad, if not worse nowadays, with just like the sheer amount of just crap that has nothing to do with whatever the franchise is or whatever the thing is. Like you'll get like coffee mug. Well, I know because coffee mugs are something that like you see every day. I'll let them go. But you'll get something that has like a baseball team's or any sports team. I don't know why I specified baseball, but like any sports team's logo and whatnot on it, right? And they'll just slap it on absolutely everything, and then it's like it's a collector's item because it has the picture.
Nice.
That is some precision picking there.
But they do it with. I specify sports because I feel like they do it a lot with sports, but they do it a lot with like video games and like big franchises like Marvel, Star Wars, stuff like that, right? From Tina Hopkins to Vivian, now an English butler. Came into work today and found another stealth revision to the shooting script. Now the Shroud has an English butler. I keep telling Babowski that we need our core fans to be our evangelists, so we can't keep marketing these stupid little changes. You have to talk to him before you go on vacation, otherwise I swear I'm bringing it up to Pete. 4 days later, please help, I want to pull my hair out. Babowski has cast and signed a contract with Claire Waddell for the role of the Mistress of Mystery. I don't care how much the Tomb of Amun-Ra gross, the Mistress of Mystery is a brunette, not blonde, brown, and definitely not a redhead. Have you heard Claire's voice? The Mistress of Mystery is confident, a match for the Shroud at his best day. Not some half-starved white waif. How do you pronounce that? Wife? No, it's waif, right? It's not a word that gets used very often. That's known for her shrill screaming. Shannon Rivers has worked for us for decades. She is the voice of the Mistress of Mystery. End of story. She's even a natural brunette. She's not as young as Claire, but surely we can do something with lighting to help with that. If we don't fix this, I swear I'm walking. I won't have my name in the credits for this train wreck. I mean, people do that all the time. Here's this character. It has a description. Either, obviously, for comic books, you have a visual. Like, this is what the character looks like. Obviously, unless that person, like that comic, is relatively new and based off of a real actor, you're not going to get somebody who looks exactly like them. But you should be able to get somebody at least relatively close, right? Same with like when they do live action cartoons and that, like, you have what the character looks like. You're not obviously not going to get somebody who looks exactly like a comic book or a cartoon character, or if you're doing like a remake or a reboot of an old franchise, but you're going to be using the same character, like that, like the same character, same name, everything, like it is the same character. You want somebody that looks as close to that person as can be, and like obviously whether or not they can act. Like I remember listening to this was a long time ago, like when the Harry Potter movies, I think they were like halfway through the Harry Potter movies or something. And there was an interview with J.K. Rowling where she said, like, since she was part of the casting, this one kid came in to audition for Harry Potter, and he was Harry Potter. Like, everything about him was exactly the way that she pictured Harry Potter was, and he couldn't act worth a damn. Like, he just had zero acting skill, nothing, and she was so upset because, like, they couldn't, and she knew, like, she didn't push for them to cast him anyway or anything. But they just couldn't. So they ended up with Daniel Radcliffe, who was still close to the description of Harry in the books and could act. It's debatable whether or not that part is true, but Anyway, whoops. Oh my god, stop. Alright, next day. Vivi, relax. If it's that important to you, maybe we can put Claire in a wig, but the contract is signed, so this is happening. What is it with you guys and Mrs. Rivers anyway? Maybe 20 years ago, but now she's got a face made for radio, am I right? Claire's got star power, and that's what we need. I talked with Petey Boy, and he's agreed to a couple new scenes. We need romance, and Claire's got the goods. If Tina can't roll with this, then I can fly in one of my boys from Hollywood. He's a class act. I got a full schedule today, dress rehearsals until 8. This can't wait until you're back from the Bahamas. So if we have to meet, 8's my only window. See, and then that's what they do, right? It's like, oh, you want to keep it accurate? Well, fuck you. We're just going to bring in somebody else. they're probably not going to know anything about the franchise or the characters. Really? You didn't fucking die?
Now that's just annoying.
I know you're still... Okay, apparently you weren't still alive. I mean, like, I can't remember what it was, but there was some... Actually, to be fair, I think I've heard it from a couple of shows or movies or something that came out where, like, they were specifically telling, like, the actors not to... I think it was maybe for The Last of Us. When they were making that TV show, they specifically told the actors, like, not to play the games or something. I don't remember. I think I read something that, you know, they, at the very least, one of them did play the games anyway or look into them or something. I don't know. And it's like that, and I saw lots of reasons that people were trying to, like, defend the choice to do that, to, you know, like, keep them blind to it, you know, so that the character could be their own, because they don't want it to be like a direct, because it's not going to be direct adaptation anyway, and that I hate ghouls so much.
So, new business.
And it's like that, no, if you're going to take an existing franchise, and like this is coming from somebody who, if you watch my Last of Us Let's Play, it's not like I'm a huge fan of The Last of Us. I thought the game was alright. I thought that it was insanely overhyped. But, like, if you're going to do a franchise, do it right, you know, like,
We got barrels. You know, you're really good at this.
I leveled up.
Too good.
Like, for example, I recently watched the new Super Mario Brothers movie that came out. And I'll say it's one of the better game to movie adaptations that I've seen in a very long time. And the reason for that is because, and there's a couple reasons for it, right? Like, I'm not going to give them all this credit because they did such a great job or anything, right? One, doing a game like Mario, or doing a franchise like Mario, is a significantly easier task than doing something like The Last of Us. Because Mario has a generalized story. Bowser's wrecking shit, go stop him. That's the majority of the games, right? You get games sometimes where Bowser's on your side, or where it just isn't Bowser doing stuff, you know, like for example, the Paper Mario games, right? You know, Bowser is generally is wrecking shit, but he's actually, to be fair, I haven't played a lot of them. The first Paper Mario is Bowser, but then the Thousand Year Door, it isn't Bowser. Like, he's in it, and you even play as him a couple times, but he's not there. And then the next one I played was Origami King, so like all the ones that were in between that, I have no idea Bowser's role in it. But like, and then in Origami King, Bowser is, once again, he isn't the main bad guy. He in fact gets taken out by the main bad guy very early on, like almost immediately, and then, you know, you don't really see him again until the end of the game. But my point is like, there isn't a strict story that you need for Mario, because if you're doing Mario, you can make up whatever story you want as long as you get the characters right. And I feel like they got Mario right. They got Luigi right. I will say that at the very beginning of the movie, like the opening scene is a commercial that Mario and Luigi are doing, and they're doing it with like the really over the top. Well, I guess it's not super over the top, but it's very much like a stereotype Italian accent. That, to me, would have been the perfect voices for Mario and Luigi. But then they just gave them a more toned down, like, regular voices. But even then, it was still good. And character-wise, I feel like they nailed Mario and Luigi. Donkey Kong, Seth Rogen should not have been his voice. But, like, character-wise, I feel like they did great with Donkey and Cranky Kong. He was in it, too. Diddy, Dixie, and I think Junior is the other one from Donkey Kong Country Games. They were technically in it, but it was very much just cameos. But like most of the characters, I feel they did all right. Toad, I feel like they got good, but Toad is a weird character. that I feel would be more hard to screw up than anything. And Peach, I thought, was almost good. They almost had it, because like I know a lot of people were complaining. Like I'm just gonna keep exploring, and we'll come back to that writer's terminal while I'm talking because I don't want to lose my train of thought. Because I know that like a lot of people
Rad roaches. Oh,
were like, oh, it's all like woman power with Peach and whatnot, right? And it's like, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, all right, clearly you've never played more than a couple of Mario games, because there's plenty of Mario games that Peach is a playable character and kicks ass, right? But the thing is, even in those games, Peach is a very like refined and like I guess ladylike character, you know? And I feel like they didn't quite get that part of her. There's got to be one like, yeah, I was gonna say
something.
in behind. And I feel like they didn't quite get that right with Peach. Oh, good God. Oh, this one here. Because she very much was a much more like in your face person. Like, and the thing is, right, is basically, I don't know if that. No, I'll keep it vague so it's not a spoiler. Basically, I feel like if they would have changed the, I guess not necessarily the last thing Peach does in the movie, but if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen the movie, then you're really not going to know what I'm talking about, and therefore it's not a spoiler. Oh, nice. We got the Grognak costume. Increases wear strength and melee damage. But yeah, so like basically like one of the last things that Peach does, right? If they had changed that, I feel like they would have got it. Like that would have been fun. Like and that they would have nailed Peach. So like and they would have nailed Peach from the games and everything, right? And that's pretty much my only like real complaint about the movie is that one part with Peach. Other than that, I feel like, and Bowser was amazing. I feel like Jack Black as the voice, everything about it was just fucking great. Like Bowser was definitely the character that they did the most right. But since I think Jack Black was like the only person with actual voice acting experience that they hired, that could be why. Anyway, let's start reading these terminals, shall we? Okay, all recording equipment is currently offline. Let's play the Silver Shroud theme. Connection failed, no video controls. Chroma test. Alright, so that actually didn't do a whole lot, but we've got two terminals to read down here, and then I'll go over why Mario was a better choice to do then. Yeah. Claire can't wait. I tried stalling her, but things are spiraling over here. Her agent was having dinner with Maxwell over at the Derby. Not good. Claire's still on board. She loves the script. She especially loves the outfit. You got the shots of that, right? Yowza. So I don't care what's going on over there. We need to sign her before we lose her to the Wisemans or someone else. We looked into that Hopkins contract. It's ironclad. The only way she's out is if she walks. Her partner signed over his rights to Hubris, but she still has hers. She even thinks of going to a lawyer. You gotta work your magic, Babu. Babu? Imagine if we needed her approval. Oh, Babowski. Got it. It has come to my attention you've hired Claire Riddell for the role of Mistress of Mystery for the show. This is unacceptable. The Mistress of Mystery has an iconic look. She must be a brunette. The Mistress of Mystery is a strong female protagonist, not some damsel in distress. Shannon Rivers has voiced MOM for years and is beloved in The Shroud and every other radio drama she's been a part of. I know we've had our differences, but this affects more than the Silver Shroud. The MOM and the Unstoppables are big brands. We absolutely must talk before I go on my vacation. Vivi got a hold of me before she left. I got the photos of Claire. She's dynamite. Love the alterations on the costume. It still feels like the comic, but more believable, so I'll back you there, but I'm with Vivi. MOM's a brunette, period, and her voice needs to be strong. Claire's voice isn't. Can we have Shannon dub over Claire in post? That's the word, right? That would be the best of both worlds. Hard to do, but technically, yes, that would be the best of both worlds. Effective immediately, I quit. You can explain to PD how you lost a lead writer for the Silver Shroud, and after everything Shannon has put up with, if you want to fire her, do it yourself. Manticore's been wanting to hire me for years. Looks like your loss is their game. Tina quit. Can only push writers so far when, they actually care about what it is they're working on. Now, the other computer was this one. And this is Tina's terminal. I'll talk with Mr. Brabowski, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. Pete brought him in because he gets television. We have to accept that there's going to be changes to get to the small screen. I agree our fans are important, but the Silver Shroud's numbers outside of Boston are, well, not ideal. A lot is riding on the success of the pilot. If Mr. Brabowski thinks an English butler could help the show, please hear him out. I love the work you and Vince have done with the Shroud. We wouldn't be shooting this show without you. I know it's tough, but hang in there. Shannon and his family, I promise you I will fight for this. This needs to be resolved before Sunday. I'm not canceling my honeymoon again over this. Make sure Babowski doesn't sneak out before I can grab him. Tina, baby, we needed those new lines yesterday. I don't know how you do things in radio, but we got catering, Foley's, best men, and actors sitting around on their tushes because of your most recent delay. We're not writing Shakespeare here, it's TV, right? I know you don't like the new monkey, but Focus loves him. He's testing better than Claire in that silly wig. Speaking of which, Claire's agent is really not loving the wig. Really, really not loving it. Claire's flying in Monday, and by then I think it's best if we nix the wig. Am I right or what? And Shannon's being a real peach, standing in for her while Claire wraps up her film, but it may be best if she's not around when Claire flies in. Will you take care of that? Thanks. All right, so that would be why Tina quit, and that doesn't surprise me. So anyway, yeah. So why Mario is obviously a better choice to do, because The Last of Us. Not only do you have to get the characters right, which I've never seen the show. I don't know how close. I mean, like, looks wise, I feel like the guy they got to play.
Nice.
Silver submachine gun prop. The guy that they got to play Joel, I feel looks wise is reasonable. Like, that's good. Like, he looks close enough, and his acting, which is apparently very good. I don't think the only things I ever hear about him are that and The Mandalorian, which I think it was Mandalorian, one of those Star Wars ones, which I've never seen either. So I'm not sure that I've actually seen him in anything, but I hear good things about him. Dude, you have a sniper rifle. You want big open spaces with like one perch where you can screw shit up. But the girl, I think her name is Bella or something. I don't think that she was a good choice, at least looks wise. Once again, haven't seen the show, don't know what her acting is like, but looks wise, she doesn't look. I feel like there's a ton of other age appropriate actresses that would be a good enough actress and look significantly closer to Ellie. But like I said, I haven't seen the show. Maybe her acting more than makes up for it. I don't know. And once again, not a huge Last of Us fan anyway. But The Last of Us is very much a story-driven game. It is very much a series, a franchise. It's 2 games. But it's very much a rabid fan base who has played this game over and over and over, and it's the same story every time. With Mario, you have people like me who have been playing Mario for years, but through multiple stories that have nothing to do with each other besides the characters are the same. Right? So, when you take something like that, fans of Mario, like me, are going to be looking for different things than fans of, let's say, The Last of Us. Because the fans of The Last of Us are going to be looking for plot points to be the same, along with the characters. So, like, going into the Mario movie, as long as they got the characters to act like the characters should act, I was happy. And like I said, outside of Peach, I feel like they did that. But when you go into The Last of Us, not only are they looking for the actors to act like the characters that they know and love, they're also looking for the storyline to follow the same plot lines because it takes place during the same thing. Now, when I heard that The Last of Us TV show is being made, I thought, and I even may have said this way back in one of the videos before it came out, that their best option for doing a Last of Us TV show would have been to have it take place during the gaps where the game time skipped. Because you go through all 4 seasons in that game. Obviously, you don't play over a year's worth of gameplay. So there's obviously big time jumps. So if they did stories that took place within those time jumps, I felt like that would have been the best choice, because then you have your characters, you have stories that, as long as they don't contradict the existing story, they will be accepted because you don't have to try and match the main story. Like, one of the biggest things why I have zero interest in watching it is one of my favorite parts of the game is, and this is going to sound weird because I can't remember his name. I want to say his name was Bill. He's played by the guy from Parks and Rec anyway. Unless the guy from Parks and Rec is the other dude. Either way, they do a whole episode on them, which I'm fine with, but then they have him kill himself at the end. And he is a big section of the game. A big section and a fan favorite of the game is that section because of his dialogue. And because of his interactions with his more serious interactions with Joel. His less serious, more like, that's hilarious interactions with Ellie. Like that was a big part of the game. Like, that's a solid chunk of the game that has a lot of character development, a lot of background and everything. And they kill him before he meets Joel and Ellie in the TV show. And that's like a huge plot point change that just like removed a lot of people's, like, some of their, even if it isn't like their favorite part of the game, it's still like a generally like top 5 sections of the game because of his dialogue. And I don't think, because like the whole school thing, I do believe, is not in the top 5 gameplay wise. But like dialogue, character interaction, that was a very much a favorite part of the game for a lot of people, and it's just gone. Like that's it. It's just gone. And I feel like that's just like I know that they lost a lot of people on that episode. I know that a lot of the stuff was like, oh, it's just because they're homophobic. That's why they're not watching it. That's why they're complaining about it. It's not. And I feel like the people saying that is what it is didn't play the game. Or they just don't care and like to call everything homophobic, because I know there's lots of people that are like that too. Oh, you didn't like something that happened to have a gay character in it. It must be because of the gay character, right? But like, once again, with something like Mario, you don't have to worry about that because there isn't any specific plot points that you need to hit, that you need to make sure that you do right, because you just play the games. Like, you run around, you jump around, and that's it. You've now Mario'd. Oh, fuck me. I missed Okay, well, we'll turn this in, and then well, actually, you know what? We won't. We'll go and grab this, because I missed a thing in the comic book store, unfortunately, while I was talking. But we'll go. I missed another of the magazines, so we'll go and grab that, and then we'll end the part and we'll turn it in, because the next part of this quest line takes place, I think. What I'm hoping to get done in the next video, because now that I'm looking at it, I'm realizing this will be 3 parts, is the next section of the game, of the quest line. But yeah, so doing something like The Last of Us, if you have, like I said, if they had put The Last of Us TV show so that it took place within the gaps that the game had left open, because like anything could have happened in that, right? Like anything could have happened during those times that the game skipped, right? Like, the only thing basically that they had to do was make sure that Joel and Ellie were alive at the end of it, and it wouldn't have contradicted anything, right? Like, obviously, the more intense they made something, the less likely it is that it wouldn't have been. Oh, I never actually picked up the script. Death becomes you draft 18. Yeah, I'm not gonna read all of this because that's a lot. So if you want to read all this, pause it or look it up because that's I know that I read long stuff all the time, but not this time. Okay, but that isn't what I forgot that I missed that. But there's a. Oh wait, we're not even on the top floor though, are we? No, that light's coming through the floor. It confused me because I was like, oh, well, we must be at the top because the light's coming in. There are. Oh. Because I, for some reason, didn't even realize this was a door. There it is. The Astoundingly Awesome Tales. Do 5% damage with the Alien Blaster. Which we actually haven't even got the Alien Blaster yet, but we haven't really been in the location. But yeah, so like when they're doing stuff like that, like it's just not a good idea to piss off the fans because the fans are going to be the most vocal people. People who aren't fans about it can be persuaded by the people who are fans. One of the biggest selling points of doing live action versions of stuff is not only will you be drawing on the original fan base from the game, TV show, cartoon, comic, whatever, right? And not only will you be drawing on that to bring them to your live action, you can also then use the live action to revive or bring back or re-merchandise the older titles, the older things, right? But when you're changing characters and that makes it harder to re-merchandise the old ones because the people aren't going to like it. Like, you know, like they were saying something about a monkey in the Silver Shroud. Like, for example, let's go with the comic, right? And how much they were changing. If somebody likes this show that they're making, and then they're like, man, this show is great, I should go read the comics. And then they start reading the comics, and they've made that many changes, which may seem small to a producer who doesn't actually give a fuck about the property, but to a fan of either one, they'll be like big glaring holes.
So let me get this straight.
And problems, right?
Chinese submarines.
So like they're going to go read the comic, and then if they are significantly different, which it seems like they were going to be significantly different, that person is then either going to be like, all right, well, I'm never watching the show again, even if they make a new season, because it's so different from the comics and the comics are so much better. Or you're going to get a person who's like, okay, well, I'm never going to read the comics because they're so different from the show. It's just going to ruin stuff for me, right? So it's like, and then somebody's losing out. And generally, if you're going to be doing a live action thing, yeah, so we'll do one more point in stealth because I don't really like this last one. And like generally, if you're going to be doing a live action of something, depending on what it is, obviously you have like the Disney live action remakes where Disney owns the rights to both outright because they're both their original. Well, I mean original as in adapted from old fairy tales, but whatever, original properties, right? But then even if you get stuff like for example this, right? Like Hubris Comics was brought in to do it, which means that the people making the TV show do have a stake and benefit if the comics start doing better, and it could even be that like, oh, that TV show, it sounds interesting, but I've never really heard of the character. Maybe I'll run out and grab a comic. And then if the comic interests me, then I'll watch the show, right? But then if they read the comic and it's like, man, this is great. Let's see the show. Wow, why is this so different? Then once again, they're going to have to choose which one they like. Obviously, there's going to be people who will watch both. There are people who can separate or who will be able to separate that, but did not expect this episode to go into this long of a fucking talk about this. I feel like I turned it into a podcast. We cleared one location, and it's not even a huge location. It's 3 floors and a bunch of ghouls. But yeah, it's just very annoying to me, even when it's a franchise that I don't really care about. But that I have no investment in, right? Like The Last of Us. Like when they announced the casting, I was like, eh. And then like when the episodes in that were coming out, I'd catch like bits and pieces of stuff there, and then that episode with Bill came out and just fucking it just like blew up all over like my YouTube news, like all of my news feeds, all of my like so many recommended videos from like a bunch of people that I watch that do like movies, TV shows, stuff like that. It just fucking blew up all over there. Like it was ridiculous that blew up. So like I heard a bunch of that all over Facebook, everything, right? And even then, it's like, all right, I can see, like, as somebody who played the game, as somebody who knows at least something about the game, I can see where these people are coming from, that they don't like these changes that they've made. And it's just like, Probably my favorite part about The Last of Us, right, is that they do the DLC in the first game, which is one of the most well-received DLCs that I've ever seen in a video game. That shows Ellie is a lesbian, right? And then The Last of Us 2 comes out. So many people didn't like the game. A lot of people did, but so many people didn't like the game, saying that it was so much worse than the first game. And everybody's like, oh, you just don't like it because Ellie's a lesbian. And it's like, they knew that beforehand. They're complimenting the first game where she was still a lesbian. They're saying that the first game is significantly better, despite her not changing sexual orientation between the two. It's like, how can you think of that, like that is correct in any way? And it was just like, it just showed so many stupid people. And I love finding these stupid people on, especially on Facebook. Like that's pretty much all I use it for. Is like I get so many like different things on my Facebook newsfeed that gets suggested to me. A lot of it's really weird that it's suggested to me, but whatever. Some other stuff, I love going through the comments because there's always stupid people. Like always. And it's just the best, especially when they start arguing with each other. And it's really good when you get like two people who are just dumb as shit arguing against each other because neither one of them is actually making any decent points for their argument. And it's just like, wow, you guys just, wow. But anyway, that was my apparently podcast episode of this about movies and TV shows and adaptations and how you shouldn't fuck them up. But thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you on Wednesday where I promise we will actually make lots of progress in this game.